There he is.
There I am.
There you are. Now, I know you're upset. It's a dark day in English football.
I know. And after the confidence of last week.
Yes. And I was reminded of that from some people.
Yeah, well, I asked them this. Where did their country get to in the competition?
Oh, you know what? Why do people do that? Why do you do that? Why did you go there? Oh, we got a lot further than you.
Okay.
That's like a 12-year-old.
Did you get further than us in the last World Cup?
No. But
what about the one before that?
Well, let's put it this way. We've been trying years to get there, and we finally got a coach that got us there. And hopefully we will do better in 2026. And maybe your team will do better in 2026.
No, I hope so. But I have no idea.
Because 4 years away, there's going to be some great football players that are going to be coming up through the ranks. 4 years. Like, you could have a 15-year-old that could be the next Messi or the next Ronaldo. You never know.
Oh, it's true. But no, I'm proud of my boys. I think they did a good job. It's 3 tournaments in a row that we've made, like the last bit. So we've done a semi-final, a final, and a quarter-final in 3 major tournaments. So I'm proud of them. It's a shame that we lost to France, but
there you go.
It is what it is.
See, look at this.
I'm not surprised with players like Scott McTominay in the team.
Oh, I don't know who that is, but
he plays for Manchester United, so I'm allowed to say.
Okay. There you go. There's Nikki. Got some people in the room. I'm not sure who this is. I'm thinking that might be Don. My man, 50 grand.
Didn't I bet someone 50 grand last week?
I sure hope not. I sure hope not. Oh, what's this? There you go. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. You know what? At the end of the day, it's just a game.
Yes, but it is
Victor. It's from the Don Vic show.
I just need to let everyone know that I've legally changed my name, so I will no longer be called Lex Paranormal. I'll be called Alejandro Paranormal, because I'm going to legally change my name to Alejandro Martinez, because I'm now going to be Argentinian. We're still in the cup.
There you go. Well, I know there's a lot of controversy going on right now because of the refs. And the refs have made some bad calls in this tournament, especially the last couple of days. I know the English fans were very upset that a Argentinian ref was reffing your game.
I think he was a Brazilian ref, actually, not Argentinian.
No, I read this morning. He was from Argentina. Either way,
it's also a silly thing to get upset about. An Argentinian referee doesn't affect the game between France and England. There's no benefit there. Argentina don't want to play France.
Yeah, I know. It didn't make a lot of sense to me, but at the end of the day, there's always the next tournament.
Yeah.
I don't think you'll have Kane, though.
No, I don't think so, but we won't need him. We've got plenty of decent strikers. Ivan Toney, Marcus Rashford. We've got a few in there, so it's fine. But we've also got the Euros in 2 years, so I'm actually looking forward to that one now. So
the Euros, I forgot about the Euros.
Yeah, every 2 years. Every 4 years as well. So it's just every 2 years we have a football tournament for the international. So Euros, then 2 years later it's the World Cup. Then 2 years after that will be the next Euro.
Yeah.
So it's quite good. And I've got Italy in my group.
Oh, do you?
For that one? Yeah. So I'm very, very, very happy to have the people that we lost the final to in the group stage. So it's quite fun.
It's nice that to see Canada in the World Cup and not Italy.
Yeah, I know, that was good. That
there was a commercial playing here in Canada where I think it was for Pizza? It was for some company like dealing with food. Anyways, there's a guy sitting on the couch and 3 guys come in the door and they're singing the Italian anthem. Or something, Italy, something to do with Italy. And they're wearing their flags and they're walking in. They're really excited. This is about the World Cup. And the guy on the couch and goes, Italy's not in the World Cup. And you see you see their face. It was a really, really, really funny commercial.
You're going to hold that. Wait, I'm going to try and find it. That's jokes. Because I know there was one that was here, and it was like Italy weren't invited, so invite Italian pizza to your house. I was like, what? Italy.
Yeah, it was really, really funny. I'll try to find that commercial.
I'm looking for it now. As well.
Hey, watch it, folks. Ken is in the building. I don't see him. I don't see Ken. Ken, make yourself known. Make yourself known, Ken. Anyways, we got a great show today. And, I was taking a look back. I thought we had these guys on the show once before. And we haven't.
Yes, we have.
Have we?
Yes.
I was looking through YouTube and I couldn't find the video that we did with them.
We have done, they've been here like 2 or 3 times now, I believe.
Have they? I know we've been on their show a lot.
Yeah, maybe I'm just remembering it wrong.
I don't think we've been on there.
We've had a lot of guests on this. Yeah, they've been on it once. Yeah.
Dakota's saying once. So everybody knows when we have these two guys or when we're on their shows, there is absolutely nothing paranormal about the show. Nothing. We just go on and on about different kinds of things, which I love and which I think is really good. And I'm sure that's going to happen today. Hello, Nando. I don't know if you saw my message earlier, Nando, but if you can take a look, that'd be great. Other than that, we have Dakota and Chris from Bald and Bonkers. I love these idiots. I really do. Now, the reason I'm saying that is because if you haven't watched their show, they have an intro. And at the end of the intro, it says talking about these idiots. Or listen to these idiots, or something along that lines. I like it. I like everything about it. But I'm looking forward to talking to them. So, other than World Cup, anything else going on with you this week?
Or
this past week?
I mean, my lord, I've done 60 plus hours in 4 days with no breaks.
Yeah.
So it's because it's Christmas, so the restaurant is just getting hit hard. Ugh, so it's my first day off actually today. So,
is it? So, any more thought about leaving the restaurant industry and following the footsteps of your girlfriend? Working 9 to 5
in the future, baby.
Yeah.
Once I've got enough money accumulated from this new role that I could afford to drop a salary, because then I wouldn't find one to pay me the same that I'm getting now. So I'd have to take a loss. But if I was financially in a good place to do so, then yes.
Cool. So he did make himself known.
He did. There he is.
He did. Unless I missed it from earlier.
You did. He put an emoji like this.
Oh, he did. Okay.
Yeah.
Did I?
Yeah.
Oh, there it is right there. Yeah. There you go. Love it. Awesome. I was watching, I think he was on a show last night. Was it yesterday? Might have been the day before. It's great. Yeah, I think it was yesterday. Anyhow, other than that, we won't get into too much of the World Cup because for obvious reasons. And,
because it's finished now. There's no need to talk about it. We're not in it anymore. So I
still think France is going to win.
Argentina.
Well, you said that about English.
I know. I'm a jinx.
So I should have put some money on it with France.
No, because the odds wouldn't be in your favor because they're the favorites to win it. So you'd get shit odds. If anything, you should bet on Morocco because you could put $1 on there and you'd get like $10,000 back. Because their odds must be great considering the fact they're the underdogs.
Speaking of messages, I sent one to you, Brian. Yes, I saw it. You sent it when I was starting the show. So I did see it. Gaming and old movies, you will be good. There you go. Here you go. See, Joanne's trying to support. She's trying to give you support. That's very nice of her. And this is not true. I'm as sharp as a tack. Not true at all. One thing I'm proud to say is my memory is not going. You have anything else to say, or should I just start the show?
You can
because you're sitting in the dark and stuff like that. You should have seen when he first came up in the back room. Like you could hardly see him.
Oh, that's because I had the screen on full, so you're actually seeing my laptop light on me. But when I was like this,
yes, that's what I saw.
Yeah, I had the screen on full, whereas now I need it like this.
So, in no particular order, I'm going to bring up these guys. I'm going to bring up Chris first, just because that's where my cursor is. So,
correct me if I'm wrong, guys. Did he bring Chris first on last time you two were on as well?
Here we go.
I'm just his favourite.
What can I say? No particular order.
I will say though. I will say this. Me and Chris do talk quite a bit during.
Oh yes, yes we do.
He sends me a lot of voice messages on how great and good looking I am.
I know. How do you do it? How do you do it? How do you keep those good looks, the young handsome looks?
It's called going to the gym, and you believe it or not, drinking a lot of water.
I try and avoid the gym, to be purely honest with you.
Well, I have some friends that go to the gym and they get there and then go home. So they do have memberships. They go to the gym, they stand out front, and then they say, okay, I was here, and then they go home.
Well, I've got a prediction I'm going to make for you. France will win.
France will win?
Yeah, France will win.
Yeah, I think so too. I think France is just way too good.
It's going to happen.
But I will say that I wouldn't be surprised if Morocco wins.
I would be very surprised if Morocco wins. They've never got this far, but they're the first African team to get this far.
But they're good.
It's weird because they're terrible at attacking, but they're great at defending. No one has scored against them in the entire tournament so far.
Okay, so here, what's this about, Matt? I know a guy named Jim. Does that count? Oh, okay, I got you. I got what you say there. Anyhow, other than that was good. I liked that. That was funny. So let's bring up this guy. Now there is a possibility during the show you might see Dakota go off into another world and play with his flashlight.
All right, he does that a lot. I've noticed that.
He does. He does that a lot. It's weird. Here's Dakota.
Because I find more interesting things than a bunch of men talking about their balls.
Well, we all know that's a lie.
Oh, yeah. There you go. Wow, that was a nice gun. See, when Lex is talking very low like this, and the lights are low, it's not good. We should have postponed this show, to be honest. We should have held off till tomorrow, because I think he would have been much, much better. Because he did say a couple of weeks ago that if England gets beat, he's not going to talk about them anymore. But what he failed to mention, this is what we get.
What?
A very unhappy man.
I'm not unhappy.
Well,
I'm Argentinian.
You're what? You're Argentinian.
Yeah, Alejandro.
Alejandro.
Argentina.
Yeah.
With me, when I have a favorite team, like let's say the Toronto Maple Leafs, okay, we all know that the Toronto Maple Leafs, if you know the team, and I'm not sure if Chris, you know the team, or Lex, because hockey's not big over there. But when they lose, which is usually every single year, they get into the playoffs and they lose in the first round. And that's been happening a lot, I think, within the last 5 or 6 years. They haven't won the cup since 1967. Now,
so that's similar to my situation because we last won it in 1966.
There you go. So, and then Toronto's also considered the center of the universe when it comes to hockey. like England is for soccer or football.
Mm.
So I get depressed every single year, but you get to a certain point where now you're expecting it, so it's not so bad. So maybe that's the angle you should go, Lex.
Well, we did that for most of my childhood. It's just the fact we've done so well in the last two tournaments. The expectation becomes real. But alas, we were defeated by just fucking French of all the people to beat us.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard though. It's hard because when the Leafs lose, and somebody just came in the room that I have not seen for quite a few years. He used to be a neighbor of mine when I was living in Burlington. It's nice to see you in, Mr. Noble. If that's the same Noble. But anyhow, he's a Montreal Canadiens fan when it comes to hockey. And I feel terrible for him because the Montreal Canadiens have been absolutely horrible over the last several years. But I feel the same way, but it lasts for about 5 minutes and then life goes on because at the end of the day, it's only a game.
Not in England.
It's not life.
It's a way. It's one of our biggest cultural things in England.
Yeah, I know. So getting off that topic, how are you boys doing?
Fantastic.
Yeah,
I don't know how Dakota is. I've spoken to him for a while.
I know, which is shocking because you messaged me more than most of the women I know.
I know, but it's the Christmas period. We've all been doing our Christmas shopping. We've been getting ready for Christmas, the time of joy. Obviously, no for Lex because of England losing, but the time for joy, you know.
I'm not fussed about Christmas. Joy. The best thing in December happens 5 days after Christmas. My birthday.
Oh, yes.
Oh, that's right.
Yes.
Yeah, so not gonna lie, Jesus is about 3,000 years dead. Fuck him. Celebrate my birthday instead because I'm still here.
Wow.
Okay. Wow. This show took an interesting turn.
I apologize for cussing out Jesus just then, but
yeah.
Oh,
yeah, that's not good.
Yeah.
But you know the funny thing about that is. But the funny thing about that is you probably won't get banned for Facebook from that. Well, but if you put 3 alien heads in a comment,
I know.
Do you know? It happened to me the other day there when Dakota was live streaming his gaming. Didn't it, Dakota?
You said, "Go get them bad Allens,"
I spelled it
and it flagged him as for spam. Check your spelling.
I can't even.
Actually, you know what? There's a new thing on Facebook now. I don't know if people have seen this. I put up a picture yesterday of Maximus, and I took him to a farm. And I don't know what's going on with this dog, but I think in a prior life he was a sheep herder because he was running around with all the sheep and herding them. And they were all following them. It was weird, but they also had llamas in there, and the white llama liked him, but the brown one was kind of kicking him and chasing after him. And I don't know what was my point to that.
Facebook.
You put oh yes, Facebook. That's right. Yeah. Sorry, I lost my train of thought there for a minute. So somebody put a message because I put Maximus and the llamas. Picture saying a showdown with the llamas. Somebody put in a comment. It looks like I forget what it's the word from word, but it had something to do with kick your ass. And then underneath that comment in the notification I got, if you don't want this posted, you can delete it. I said, well, it's not a bad comment, so I unhid it, but it was hidden until I gave it the permission to go up there. So that was something I'd never seen before.
No,
so they're doing all kinds of weird things.
Everything is going bad. Everything's
I've noticed since Elon started busting out the Twitter files, as he calls it, a lot of other social media platforms are backtracking what they've been doing.
Yeah. Well, now if I go on Twitter now I'm seeing people that have like 60 followers and they got the blue check mark.
Yeah, they're paying for it. That's why
they're paying $9 for that. Are you kidding me? You need that $9. You need that check mark that badly that you're going to pay $9 a month for?
Like, people are that stupid to believe it.
Well, I think we said this before, didn't we, Brian? I was like, everyone should be able to get the blue check mark, right? It should just be you verify who you are.
Yeah.
And then that means you're talking to real people.
Well, the interesting thing, for the big time actors that had the blue check mark, they have red check marks now.
Oh, I did not know that.
I didn't know that. And I'm on Twitter every day.
Yeah, they have. There's certain categories for the check marks. So the big time actors have some of them have red check marks. I didn't know that. My son pointed it out yesterday to me.
Who's a big name actor?
On Twitter, I don't know. So
let's try.
I heard something somewhere that Facebook's thinking about doing the same thing.
Facebook already has the check marks.
No, it's something they've got to be doing. It's something if you've got to be streaming. They've got to be doing something. They've got to be changing it.
I don't understand what the point of paying $9. If I go into a Twitter account and I see they have 15 followers and they have the blue check mark, I'm going, okay. Is that supposed to tell me something? I don't get it. I really don't get it.
Look, I know celebrities on there and they don't have the blue check mark. Yeah, I mean, they don't have many followers, mind you, but
yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know either. Yeah. I'll try to find somebody who has a red check mark.
Yeah, because I can't find any.
You can go ahead and.
It's like, is this just like an iPhone to Android thing? Only iPhone users see the red.
Like, I'm on Android.
I'll look for iPhone for you. Right?
Well, I saw a post this morning. Yeah, I saw a post this morning. Somebody put up on Facebook saying, "You are really a stubborn person." And then, really, you're a real stubborn person if you don't forget what it said word to word. You're a real stubborn person if you don't change from Android to iPhone. I wanted to comment and say, "Are you kidding me? Seriously?" So let me find somebody. I will find somebody.
So I went the other way. I went from iPhone to Android.
I'm looking.
iPhone's good for old men.
To be perfectly honest, I tried the iPhone for about 5 days and I got rid of it.
Oh no, I
didn't like it at all.
Samsung lover, but see now, I'm an iPhone. It's everything. I've got Apple products. I've got everything's Apple with me.
So Chris? I'm glad you're doing great, but we talk a lot anyway. So how are you, Dakota?
Oh, I've been doing all right. Been meeting up with some producers for a couple different film projects I'm on.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So you want to get started, Lex, or you want to ask these guys something, or should we just sit here and look at each other?
Not much to
sit
look
in
at.
Awkward silence. Let me start off with Chris. I'll start off with Chris. So, Chris, I know you're into the paranormal a lot. Other than a lot, I think does paranormal beat UFOs?
That's a difficult question with me. I love the UFO stuff with Dakota, right? See, I'm having to swap around now because I'm in a different spot. So I know where he is, right? And I love the UFO subject and I love the UFO stuff. But I also love ghosts. I love the paranormal side. I want to find out the truth and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. And I know you do. And so why don't you tell everybody your story on how you got into the paranormal?
Oh my God. It started off when I was very, very young. Very young. I would say I was about 6 at the time. I grew up in a haunted house. Everybody knew the house was a wee bit odd. But I'll give you a quick backstory. There used to be old houses, mining houses on the estate. They got knocked down and they built these kind of modern houses on top of them. And at night you would see weird shadows moving about and stuff like that. And you would say to your mother and father and they'd be like, all right, okay, right. But I would just see it over the years and I would watch like shows like ghost hunting shows and I'd be maybe like 13, 14.
Yeah.
When TV, you know what it was like then. I mean, I'm going back to the 90s before Dakota here was, he was still playing his harp and, the clouds. And one night I went to my bed, and I will say this, one night I went to my bed and you ever wake up, Brian, you ever wake up and you cannot move?
Oh, you mean sleep paralysis?
Yeah.
I've heard so much about that, but it's never actually happened to me.
Well, I woke up looking at the kind of ceiling, and all I could move was my eyes. Honestly, that's all I could move. It was a different room for the one that I'm in now, and I looked over, and I seen what looked like a man standing there. And I've not actually told many people this. I've not really, Dakota, I've told you about this, haven't I, Dakota? And I thought I could see through him. It was like half translucent, but you could see like his structure. You could see his bones and stuff like that, which was a wee bit. It was a wee bit kind of scary at the time. I mean, see somebody standing, but he had like an old hat on and stuff like that. And then I went back to sleep again. And then I get right into the supernatural. I get right into like watching the ghost shows, and I always wanted to do it. Right, I always wanted to get out and do it, and it's maybe about, I would say about 10 years now I've been doing it. I've been going out to like graveyards and strange locations, but then I bumped into this guy.
Oh, it's when they all go.
What happened? I'll backtrack a wee bit. Before I bumped into him, I bumped into a psychic friend of mine, and she's absolutely amazing. Her name's Luna Clip. She's really, really, really good. And we were doing a live streaming when I first started getting into this kind of thing. And she says to me, she says, now we always knew the house was haunted, as I told you. I could see like shadows and stuff. And she says, there's a man standing behind you. And I went, okay, right, no problem. And he's wearing a kind of hat and a cap. And I did a bit of research, and there was a man that died in this house. There was a man, this very room, he died in this very room where I am right now.
Mm.
And I've seen him now and again. But you know, since I've like acknowledged him, you hardly ever see him anymore. Ever since I've acknowledged him, nothing happens in the house anymore, which is a strange thing. It's maybe he was doing all that kind of stuff to get attention. But then I bumped into my friend here. And oh my God, that's just opened the door. That's just, honestly, Brian, Lex, it's opened the door to the supernatural, but not just the supernatural, the ET stuff. And that stuff's just blows your mind. Okay, I mean, it really does. And I've been training myself. I've been getting actually help for certain friends like Lisa Fry and other people that are helping me, because my psychic abilities are actually getting really, really good now. I actually gave somebody a reading the other day there, and I'll not get into it, but it's quite amazing actually, right? How it all works. It's hard for me to explain because I know, Brian, you're a wee bit psychic. You've got the gift too.
No, I'm not psychic, but I do have sensitive abilities.
Yeah. You say it's about.
Yeah, I want to clear that because I know you know, but I just want to make sure people, because then people are going to come to me and go, "Can you tell me this?" No, please go.
No, it's like no. I will say this, right. I'll go to a graveyard.
Yeah,
I can sense people there. I can sense how they were dressed.
Yeah, and I think everybody can in certain ways, and I think everybody has the ability to see something, to hear something, and all that stuff. It's just a lot of us are unable to tune into it. I think I've known people that have been into paranormal investigations for 15 and 20 years.
Yeah.
And have no abilities whatsoever, but over a certain period of time, they were able to develop a skill, knowing that something was going to be there or not.
Mm-hmm.
It might have been a feeling, it might have been, the energy in the room, they can feel it. So I think we all have a little bit of, everybody has a little bit of, they're capable of seeing or hearing things.
I will say that the further down the rabbit hole you go, things do jump out on you. I mean, things do happen. I mean, the UFO stuff that I did with Dakota, I mean, that's just blows my mind, some of that. I mean, it's ridiculous how the strange things that have happened, the strange things ever since we started doing the CE5 protocols and stuff like that. That the strange things that have happened to me and are still ongoing happening, which Dakota all knows about, and it's. I now know that there is life after death, and I now definitely know that we're not alone in this galaxy and this universe. You know, there are things watching us right now.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. So Dakota, I know you're more in the area of cryptids and UFOs, right? What's the most that you would lean towards, UFOs or cryptids? I know you do. I know you like paranormal stuff, but I think UFOs is mainly your thing, right?
Because that's the stuff that's been popping up right above my house.
Okay.
The way I tell people, I go wherever the case takes me. There's a situation where I'm getting called for a potential exorcism, but nobody's fucking talking to me.
Yeah.
And there's lights in the sky. I mean, the law enforcement called me about a UFO potentially crashing not too far from here.
Interesting. So where did your journey begin? Whether it's paranormal, cryptids, or UFOs?
Officially, when I was about 9, it started with ghost hunting. I've kind of looking back, I've always kind of had these things going on, but it was just seemed so normal to me. It wasn't until about that time, it was on a school field trip where we went to the old Idaho State Penitentiary, walked past death row, and all of a sudden I'm watching a man being walked out to a noose and being hung. So naturally, I didn't think anything paranormal. I'm freaking out thinking I'm watching somebody's life about to end. You know, crying for help. Hey, somebody get in here. Somebody get in here. Next thing I turned back, the thing was gone. It wasn't until a couple of years later. I know how everybody feels about this, but it was their early days. Season 1, Ghost Adventures came through, filmed, then happened to show an image of the guy that I saw. His name is Raymond Snowden, referred to as Idaho's version of Jack the Ripper.
Wow.
Basically went to jail for murdering a woman after what honestly sounds like a date gone wrong for him. Constantly bragged that there were other kills, but when you really look at it, almost just sounds like he was trying to make himself sound tougher for the other inmates. And the story with him was that when he was executed, the noose didn't snap right, and he just hung there choking to death.
Wow. Okay.
Well, that's a hell of a story, isn't it?
Where do you go from there? Like, wow. Took an interesting turn. Holy crap. Jesus.
Yeah.
But you know, what I like about, and honestly, like when it comes to you two, I love watching your shows. I love the different varieties that you have when it comes to your shows. You're just not about one thing. You're about several different things. And I think that's what I like about you too. And, you know, I think one thing it's always stuck out to me the most is you guys are really authentic. And, you know, Dakota more than Chris. But no, I'm just kidding. You know, I'm kidding.
See, I keep telling you.
Yeah. And that's what I find interesting about you too, is that your show is very authentic and you don't take yourself too seriously.
Yeah.
And you guys have fun. And every time we've been on to your show, me and Lex, we've always had such a blast. And I think that's the first time I've heard your stories, and I find them really interesting. Because you guys don't really obviously talk about yourself a lot when you're coming to your shows, because you're talking about your guests. But I really find it interesting in hearing your stories. And this is why I love doing this show, because, you know, for other podcasters out there that we have interviewed, we don't really get to hear them. We only hear the people they're interviewing. And I always find it very interesting. And thank you for that. I appreciate it. So, Lex?
Yeah, I just want to continue with Dakota for a minute and ask, where did the segue come in? Where you started really broadening your mind from outside of just the paranormal sphere, obviously seeing a dead guy being walked to his death, knowing that he's about to choke himself out. How did your journey turn into, like, let's start with which came first then, the cryptids or the UFOs?
Chronologically speaking, UFOs. On an investigative side, the cryptids. I know it bounces around so much with me, and I'm still trying to sort out all the information. With cryptids, my first case, I was like 14 or 15 years old. We were on a family camping trip. It was Diamond Field Jack Campground. It's near one of the major ski resorts in the area. When I was about in the 8th grade, we were coming back from a ski trip, and I was just kind of watching everything go by. I was one of the outcast kids. All of a sudden, we go by this cave in the side of the mountain. Now, something nearly as tall as the mouth of the cave was just standing there watching the buses go by. And if I were to kind of compare what I saw, it was completely covered in fur, but when I could see of its facial structure, it looked like Australopithecus. I can't believe I just was able to say that.
Congratulations.
Yeah. A few years go by on this camping trip. I know that there's still sightings in the area, so why not? Let's see what happens. Our campground constantly feels like something's stalking us. There's this huge putrid smell. Now, people want to know, if you're out in the woods and you think Bigfoot's nearby, just think, how does a big, hairy man going to smell that's been out in the woods and hasn't bathed ever? Best way to put it. So I get to start setting up an area to try to gather a foot casting. All of a sudden, I hear this rustling in the bush behind me as I'm setting it up. I'm basically trying to set out some bait on a tree stump, set it to where my camp, where my tent was, so I can just sit there and watch. Something's walking up behind me that looks like, almost kind of like a tiny chimpanzee, but it had more human structure to it. The second I realized that, okay, maybe I got something, I made the mistake of jumping, and that thing bolted. And it was close to 10 o'clock at night up in the mountains. There's no light for me to work off of. And if there was, this thing had dark fur, so it could easily get away. The next morning, there was what would be about a US size 20 footprint where the bait was set. I was able to get a casting. Then a few years later, when we happened to have Dr. Jeffrey Meldrum, who's known as the Bigfoot professor from Idaho State University, come on our show, I showed him the photo, and he fully believes I may have caught something legitimate there. Wow. He wants to hopefully do a collaboration if I can get up there, but which right now is usually not a good time because that area always smells shut where he's at.
Wow. So I'm actually kind of curious on what your thoughts are on, and either of you can answer this. What are your thoughts on the Dogman and the Mothman? What are your thoughts? What are your, I'm not sure if I'm a huge believer in the Mothman or the Dogman or whatever you want to say, or however you want to say who they are or what they are. Are you guys believers in that?
I never used to be. Honestly, I never used to. I was always a believer in cryptids. There was Bigfoot. I did believe in Bigfoot, right? Because there is evidence pointing there is something there, but it's bloody good at hiding. I will say that. But it was actually Mike the Naked Bigfoot that would tell me stories. That's because we would talk, and he would tell me about how his encounters were at the Dog Man and stuff like that. And some of the stories that he would tell me would put your hair would rise up. I mean, you get that weird feeling. And I started digging into it more. I do believe there is things out there. I do believe it. I honestly do.
And Dakota, what's your feelings on it?
I do believe there is something to it, but I don't want to try to completely divulge this overly mystical D&D mindset that a lot of people seem to have when it comes to those type of things. Until I see more proof that there is something. For those like Dogman, how do we know it's just not a really malnourished bear? Because yes, bears can walk for quite a while on their hind legs if they have the need to. It's like there's stories of a grizzly bear whose front paws was badly damaged in a fire, so it learned how to get around on its hind legs. It can happen. And people just suck at identifying things when it comes to going out in the woods.
I always find it interesting. Me and Lex have talked about this on prior shows, that every time that somebody catches a Bigfoot, the footage is really pixely. Super pixely. And with the cameras today, like the Samsung 22 Ultra is probably one of the best cameras in any type of phone. And there was somebody that caught a Bigfoot and it was still pixely. And okay, maybe he zoomed in quite a bit, but I've zoomed in quite a bit on this phone as well, and it's still not that pixely. So I don't know what's going on with that.
Well, it's not that I was going to say, Brian, when you were in England with me, I took a photo of the moon from my Samsung phone.
Yeah.
And it's crystal clear.
Yeah. And how far is that away? Like seriously, and it was really actually, in fact, it was actually a really good picture that Lex took of the moon. And we came back from an investigation. That's why he took it, because the moon was so bright that night. But it's interesting. And like I'm on the fence about the Mothman, the Dogman. I'm also on the fence about fairies. I hear a lot about elementals. And I sometimes wonder, and I'd love to hear your opinion about this. I sometimes wonder if people out in the paranormal world make it really, really complicated and overthink it and overanalyze it. What are your thoughts on that?
Because, like I said, we got to get rid of this D&D mindset that seems to infect people lately. I mean, just kind of as an example, people get disappointed, say like Loch Ness Monster as an example. People get disappointed when I say it's nothing exotic, it's just a big ass eel.
See, that's what I get for asking.
There's DNA evidence for it. And yes, eels can get to be 20 to 30 feet long, even bigger, if they don't have anything that takes them out. Maybe there's something to these stories, yes, but for some reason, people just want to believe in all these fantastical things, and it just twists things beyond comprehension. I don't know if they're trying to fulfill some sort of lack of self-image because, seeing these mystical things is easier for them to comprehend that there's something special and distract them from what's going on in their life. I don't know. It goes by a case-by-case situation.
Yeah. And Chris, what are your thoughts?
Right. I mean, I know lots of people that are into this, the fairies and the fae and the mythical creatures. This is what I will say, right? I do believe there is something I do not know what it is, because I've never seen a fairy. I've never seen a mythical creature like that, right? I do believe there is something out there with the Loch Ness Monster. There's something. I don't believe it's a monster like it is, or maybe a reptile for the Jurassic period that's living underground. I believe it's what Dakota says, right? I do think it's like when people look at the fairies, right? They think it's all magical. They think they're going to get into the woods and the fairies are going to come out and they're all going to be dancing round about them and stuff like that. I don't believe in that. I don't believe in that. I don't think. I know people that are they're probably watching this now because they get them and they're like, "Oh no, fairies are real. Fairies are real." Maybe to them they're real, but maybe to me, because I can't see them. Right? It's the same when it comes to the UFO stuff, right? People think, right? Oh, I've been contacted by an alien, right? And I'm getting help by an alien, and and then they take on this kind of personality where they think that they're doing something amazing for the universe, and they've got like knights in shining armor, and they think it's mythical and magical, where it's no. It's actually a pain in the arse, right? To be contacted by these creatures, right, and be annoyed with them 24 hours a day. And the fairy side of stuff, right? I mean, is it that Barry Fitzgerald? He did a book. What was the book, Dakota?
Yeah,
was very
Deception of
interesting.
Gods and Men.
Yes, where it's like these creatures have maybe played the part of fairies and goblins and that throughout thousands of years. I do believe there is something. I do believe there is something that's obviously spurred it on to brought the story to tell. I don't believe that there's little creatures with wee wings and they're fluttering about and get what I mean.
No.
Well, there are. They're called flies.
What's that?
Jenny Longlegsies. Daddy Longlegsies. There you go, Daddy Longlegsies.
Yeah, flying spiders.
Moths.
Yeah. You know what I find really interesting, and I've seen people like this on several different shows, and that's people that supposedly got kidnapped by aliens, UFOs. Right. I sit there and listen to these people talk about this, and the stories are like really, really out there. And I'm sitting here thinking to myself, why you? Why, like, you were like before all this happened, you were a man that was working at a variety store during the night, like you were the night shift. Like, why are they taking you? Or, you know, there's a very famous guy out there. I can't recall his name. He was on a podcast probably last year. And he's been on a lot of different podcasts, and he's got a book out there. I think he was kidnapped in the 80s. And I can't recall his name, but he's very, very famous. And I'm sitting here thinking to myself, he was just a normal guy before all this happened.
Was that
and
the
then
guy
as soon as he was kidnapped, what's that?
Was he a lumberjack? Was that there was a film made about it? Was there no?
Yeah. So I'm sitting here watching him and him going through his, you know, spiel, and it almost, to be honest, it almost sounded like a script, but probably because he said it so much that it sounds like a script when he's talking about it. But I'm sitting here thinking, and again, same thing. Why you? Why are they taking you? Like, this is where it doesn't make sense to me. When you hear all these stories about these people getting kidnapped or abducted, and it's just like, that's the first thing that hits my mind is why you.
See, that one doesn't hit me, because you can have the same mentality of everything. Does every cow in a field know, like, do they go, oh, Jerry got taken by the humans, and they're going to be like, yeah, but why Jerry? All he does is walk around. It's just the opportunity would be the obvious answer there. Why you? Because the opportunity to take you was there. They flew in, and you're there. My biggest discredit to these stories is, how come no one else in the town, street, the house opposite you, how come no one sees a fucking thing? Ever. In every single one of these stories, there's never Bob from next door can corroborate the story. It's always the family that are corroborating the story. And they're always abducted like multiple times as well. It's never just once.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, this is the 17th time this has happened to me. And 17 times no one was around. One of them was in broad daylight on the school run. And it's like, well, you're full of shit.
And this, and it's, he's right. And the second thing that I think of, and it just puzzles me, is I guess it's kind of similar to the first thing, but I never really understand why these people get kidnapped. It's because, okay, I'll tell you what my second thought is. My second thought is, we all know that, well, I guess we're all being told that the advancement of aliens, they're so far advanced from us when it comes to technical and all those different things. and flying machines everywhere. What are they getting from us that we're so far behind them? What are they getting? What are they trying to get? Like, it just doesn't make any sense. Why you would kidnap someone, and what are you getting?
and if you're that far advanced and you've been coming here since, let's say, when was Roswell? The 60s? Is that am I right?
No.
I think it was
Roswell's
the 50s, I think, wasn't it?
40s?
47.
So we're estimating there's at least like almost 90 years, 80, 90 years that they've supposedly been coming here, right? Minimum. Right, obviously there could be loads more.
Well, they've been coming for longer, but
if they've been abducting people in that time frame of 90 years, and it's just to work out our biology, right? Why would they need to keep abducting people to do biology tests? Do you know when we studied the biology of chickens, we took a handful of chickens and we determined, right, every chicken's the same. We don't need to go back for that chicken and get him. I mean, we did because we killed him and ate him because we like offending vegans. But other than that, the whole argument, the whole argument side of it doesn't make sense. Yeah. And it's always lower class people that are getting taken. It's never upper class people. It's always.
I guess that's kind of what I was trying to say. I didn't want to say that.
There has
Who's
been
the highest profile person that's been abducted? The highest profile person who was not famous before it happened.
Oh, Dakota.
Demi Lovato.
She's the most not. Demi Lovato, you can't trust a word she says because she uses everything as a social trend. She faked being non-binary to get out of something else that she was in trouble for in the newspaper. Turned back to a woman because she was no longer in trouble anymore. She is full of shit about everything she does. So she's not.
She
really
also
credible.
became a lesbian, didn't she?
She's been everything, mate. She's not a credible source. So
sounds like most of the women I've been with.
So if
well,
Demi
that's
Lovato
understandable. Look at you.
So if Demi Lovato is the if Demi Lovato is the go-to,
I love you, Dakota.
That's not like when I say high class people. I mean, show me a president that was president when he was abducted and came back and told us.
Yeah.
A member of the royal family in Britain.
See, that's an interesting. It's actually quite interesting that you bring that up. What was the university? What was the university professor, Dakota, that released that document about President Kennedy?
Yeah, but he didn't come out and say that, did he?
No, but it was documentation.
No, there is alleged documentation out there that says that before Kennedy was assassinated, he was getting ready to say that, yes, there's life out there.
No, he's every other president could have done it. I'm not denying life. I 100% believe in aliens. Don't worry. I just don't believe that everyone who comes out and says they've been taken has. I especially don't think celebrities who claim they have. Yeah. Especially Demi Lovato. I've never been quiet about how much I dislike the things that come out of her mouth. So it just seems with every documentary you watch. Every single one. There's one on Netflix I watched the other day. It's based in the UK. Every single one of them is a council house person that was taken.
Yeah.
It's no one in the upper or middle class. It's always lower class people. And now they get handouts of money to do these documentaries, and people wonder why they're doing it. And I'm like, because of the social clout they get for doing so. So I think that's what harms your field.
You could say the same about the paranormal field too. There's people out there.
There's many upper class people that do paranormal.
Yeah,
everyone does, but there's upper class people doing it.
This and demons that. Just look at Zach Bagans.
That's not the demons. Yeah, Zach Bagans was never Commonwealth or lower wealth. He's an upper class citizen. Has been before he was on TV doing this. The difference is that's what I'm saying. Paranormal. Everyone lies about everything. People who like Bigfoot lie about it and stuff like that. I'm saying that when one of them, and it's mainly everyone does it. But the UFO one, every documentary is about lower class people being taken. It's never upper or middle class citizens. It's always these people who are poor, who get famous to doing this, and now we're meant to believe them. That's the point I'm differentiating here. Like with paranormal stuff, anyone can prove it for themselves. I can't prove there's aliens here. I have to stand out there and wait for a long time and hope I get lucky.
You get to know.
I should.
Well, what I like? You'll be fine. I like the most. What I like the most is when people talk about aliens, they talk about aliens being amongst us, walking around everywhere. And I'm sorry, I'm going to say this now.
Elon.
I think that is nothing but bullshit. I don't think there's aliens.
I will agree with you there.
And walking us around us. I think I just don't believe it. In this particular case, I'm going to be that type of person that says I have to see it to believe it.
See, that's what I've heard that. I've met a lot of UFO people, and they've told me, oh, there's UFOs, they're walking along. If you really think about that, if you were an intergalactic space alien, right, and you had all this sophistication and technology, why would you come and live in Earth?
Yeah, why would you hide amongst a primitive species?
That's the only problem I've got with that kind of side of stuff.
I'm interested to know Dakota's thoughts on that, because I know you're a UFO person, and I know you have a huge interest in that, and I appreciate that and I respect that. But there's a lot of things that we've talked about that we hear all the time. What Lex has said, what I have said, and at the end of the day, I think it's just people out there that are trying to be bigger than they really are, and trying to stand out from people that are saying the exact same thing. They got to one up them to make it seem better. And again, and obviously this is our own opinions, and I don't want anybody to get upset.
Oh, yeah, I don't know anything about this field, to be fair. I just know what I see on TV. And when I come across it. So,
in Dakota?
No, it's fair. I completely agree that there's too many people. I mean, hell, there's people that tried to say that I was doing the same thing. I was like, all right, where's the money? Huh? Because they hear some of the stories I tell. And like I said, it goes back to they're trying to fulfill some sort of self-image issue. They're trying to distract themselves from whatever issue is actually at hand. I was like, okay, let's say I was up there helping abduct people. Okay, does this person have any birthmarks on their body? This is what bothers me honestly, it bothers me that there's people out there that say, oh, just stick with all this. I understand what they're saying. You got to talk about these things in order to get some sort of attention to it. But at the same time, don't be spoon-fed every little thing that's coming to you, right? Now, is there technologies? Yes, these may be isolated incidents. There's been a couple incidents I've had where, looking back, I found out that there is actually record of somebody seeing something. Like an incident where I ended up 30 miles away from home one night and everybody was freaking out thinking I got kidnapped. There's a sighting of 3 orange lights in the sky in that area where path of flight would have happened to go from point A to point B.
Yeah, it's interesting. So getting back to the paranormal side, Chris.
Yes.
Tell everybody, for the people that don't know, about your new channel, and they can go over and subscribe. I think I put it in the description. But talk about your new channel and talk about an investigation you've done or one coming up.
Well, it's called Ghost Squad Scotland, and we go only around about Scotland. Obviously, that's Ghost Squad Scotland. We do a live once a week talking about a haunted location in the UK somewhere, and you have used to on Bryan and Lex one night. It's an investigation standpoint. I've only been to a few places with my team, which is Alan, Drew's Paranormal. We've been to a few places. The best one, I think I sent you the video to this one. I think it was Carmichael House, Brian. Remember that one?
Yeah.
And it was a 16th, 17th century manor that was abandoned in 1919, I think it was. It was abandoned after their son got killed in World War I.
Wow. Now, this is the one you're talking about. It was just a few kilometers down the road, right?
Yeah. It's
from you?
3 miles up the way. Yeah. And it's stunning. It's absolutely, it's actually built on the grounds of a medieval castle. The castle fell into disrepair, and then they built the house on top of it. And what they did is, when their son was killed in the trenches in France, or I can't remember the exact location, they brought his body home because he was like a captain or something, and they buried him on the estate. I can't find the grave. It's there somewhere, but I'll have to go in the round about this time of year, when everything dies down. But that place was weird. That place was just totally weird. I mean, it was one of the weirdest places I've been. You know what it looks like? It's kind of like an 8-shaped building. You've got like a long building here, and then you've got a long section that goes out to like a clock tower, and then it goes out again to the. It's like you could hold it in either direction, look exactly the same. The first building I went into was absolutely fine. There was nothing. It felt really friendly, But the second building I went into had this weird. It wasn't just that. It was just. You ever get the feeling there's like something watching you, and it does not want you there. It just does not want you there, and it's weird because we had the ghost box out the second time we went back, and it was spurting stuff out like soldier, death, which I found interesting because obviously that's the young son that was killed. But there was also a medieval castle that was burnt to the ground, but the Scottish and English fighting, it was burnt to the ground. And it's always fascinated me. I'll need to go back, and hopefully I'll be able to take you, Brian. Maybe one day, Lex, you'll be able to come take, because I think you would absolutely love that location.
That's what I'm hoping, because Lex knows, I've told Lex this, that I'm possibly coming down next year. And I'm hoping instead of us just staying in, in England, I'm hoping that we can travel out to not only Scotland, but we can travel out to Ireland as well, and instead of just staying in the England part, because I think it would be a lot of fun. And it's not too often where you can walk down the street and you see a castle that's abandoned.
Yeah.
You won't see that in Canada. The only thing you're going to see in Canada, if you walk down a path, you might see a Johnny on the spot that's been there, sitting there 50 years.
I mean, there's castles all around about me. Just down the street from me, there's a church. There's a chapel that was built in the 11th century.
Yeah,
and it was
that's cool. That's so cool.
Inside it, there's swords for the holy wars and stuff like that. I mean, next year, well, not long away. I'm hoping in the summertime to go to like Loch Ness, Slane's Castle. That's where I want to go. That's the main one. Famous for the vampire books. And I'm hoping to take. There's a friend I've got. His name's called Neil Story, and we've been talking. And he's from that program, Help My Home Is Haunted, and he does all the kind of historical stuff. And me and him, we want to go to this location and film it, and it'd be excellent if the two of you guys were there at the same time.
Cool. And Dakota, what do you have? What are you working on, or what do you have coming up?
Like I said, I've been talking with some film producers due to some various different projects I'm tied to. Start releasing a couple more movies next year. We have one coming up with Christopher Lloyd and Simon Pegg. There's also been talk moving forward with the UFO documentary that Bonkers is putting together. That's going to observe one case that way too much completely false, as well as hopefully organized.
Yeah, it's weird. You keep on freezing.
Every time you mention UFO.
Yeah.
It's like someone's trying to shut him up.
Yeah. The Russians?
Because there's information. They're trying to be very careful about me not leaking out because it could cause a mental breakdown.
Yeah, I think it's the Russians. I don't think they like Dakota very much. Or Chris.
I don't mention them. Trust me.
Because we had this problem last week, right? On your
I know.
On the show.
I know.
Like Chris was like
he's closer to bomb.
Yeah.
No,
exactly.
I actually found out I've actually just went and purchased a very expensive I'm naming the make of internet security. But I've also got VPN security now too, so it changes my IP address and stuff.
And every few minutes it changes it?
I don't know what it does. It does something. I can see it working doing the wee bomb. It's got a wee planet going about. But anyway, actually there was last week on my computer it flagged twice that my IP address and something had been.
Well, I think last week it was the servers, right? And
I think that's basically what it was. Yeah, I think that's what.
Or maybe that's what they were just
nothing
telling
would
you.
work.
Or telling the people. It's not really what was going on. They were just telling people that.
Yeah.
So, anyhow, go ahead, Lex.
Where do I go from here?
Podcast, maybe.
Yeah. So, what's the highlight of the year for Bald and Bonkers this year? Because it's coming to the end of 2022. And what's been the highlight of your Bald and Bonkers show this year?
Well, obviously us.
Oh dear Lord, there's been a few. Nah.
Well, we got to meet Dave Shredder, which I never thought would happen this year. That's one of the folk that I like.
Barry Fitzgerald. That was
Barry Fitzgerald. I mean, who knows where we'll be going next year? Who knows who we'll have on next year?
Yeah, and it's incredible. And when we get into talking about people's podcasts, we tend to ask this question. During this year, or since you've even started Bald and Bonkers, what's been your biggest surprise doing the show? Or, even a podcast itself? What's been your biggest surprise?
I never thought I could do anything like this, to be purely honest with you. I was quite a shy person. I used to work with Lex up here, and I used to do my researching and stuff like that, and that's how I met Lex. And I never thought I could speak like this in front of all these people, and it's a kind of achievement in myself. It's and it's helped me. It's spiritually and kind of psychological way. It has helped me because I've got to open up now, and I'm a totally different person. I can talk in front of loads of people now. I could never used to be able to do that.
That's great. And you know what? That's really nice to hear, because we do have people that are on Parapost Network Central that were the exact same way. They were very shy in front of the camera, and the one person I could think of, it would be Squeakers, Sarah from the Paracrew podcast, and with Matt and Lurker. She was very shy, and she's like completely come out of her shell, and that's what I love to see. I love seeing people that were introverts and now are extroverts now, and by doing this, and that's a great thing. What has yours been, Dakota?
How fucking gullible people are! My God, just as one example.
Okay, there we go.
I know everybody's all happy. I was just gonna say
he's about to say none of it's real. None of it. It's all been a lie.
No, it's just that I don't know. It's just people wonder why UFOs, ghosts, all that has a hard time being taken serious. It's been like, I'm going to use an example that Knucklehead over here ended up doing for a Sea Monster episode we did, right? He found an artist's sketch of what was supposed to be Loch Ness. Now he knows what I'm talking about. The people were like, if it's not real, then how come you have a picture? It's a drawing!
After that show, someone messaged me and says, because we says to them, we tried to tell them in the chat that it was an artist illustration of a plesiosaur for the Jurassic period, right?
Yeah.
And something like 100 million years ago or something like that. And the woman actually messaged me after the show and went, I'm very sorry, but if you've got a picture like that, it obviously exists.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong.
You did not tell me that she messaged you after.
Actually, somebody I know.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Wasn't it just recent that somebody actually debunked the Loch Ness Monster thing?
No,
somebody debunked it finally?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The DNA test for the eel. I mean, there is one big sign that happened earlier this year. Everybody got excited thinking it was the Loch Ness Monster. It looked just like what they call the sturgeon's photo, the old black and white with the little, what looks like an elephant trunk sticking out of the water.
Oh, you mean the toy that's floating?
It was during Scott.
Okay.
No, you're going to love this one, Lex. It was during the heat wave that the UK was getting. A bunch of alpacas broke free from their farm and decided to go swimming. And they thought that was the Loch Ness Monster.
Oh wow, because of the head. Yeah, I can see that.
I will have to say this though, as a fellow Scots person that wants to bring tourism into Scotland to bring more money to the Scottish government and help everybody, I do believe there is something mystical there.
No, absolutely, go check it out. I mean, it's a beautiful area. I'm not gonna deny it, that it's it was a bucket list experience for me. It got me on National Geographic. Found out later I may have had a spiritual assist because my great grandmother apparently passed away within like an hour of when I went there. But no, absolutely go check it out. There's lots of other different spots in Scotland to go to, but I'm sorry, Loch Ness. Jurassic Park is not waiting in Loch Ness. That's
I will say this, right, about Loch Ness. I've been there maybe 4 times, right? And I'll be going back in the summertime, right? I will say this about Loch Ness. There's maybe no a mythical creature there, but if you believe in ley lines and all this kind of spiritual energy and stuff, there is a ton of ley lines there, right? And we do have Aleister Crowley's house, which is right next to it, which might have Chris, some...
Matt, I refer you to my other comment at the beginning of the show when I said, fuck Jesus.
Well, I don't know, Alejandro. I think Jesus would love that for one night.
Oh, God. That's... But honestly, see Loch Ness, I do think it has got maybe see the castle's quite badly haunted and stuff like that. As this is my honest truth, as a Scottish person born in Scotland, I don't believe there's a monster there. I don't think there's anything there anymore. There might be a Neil there, and I'm just saying it. There is spirits and castles and stuff like that, but
I was when and I'm sorry, I'm going to use this comparison, but I think it has something to do with the eyes or something like that. But when I was at the farm yesterday, this guy that owns this farm, he's a friend of mine, and you can go through the field and hit a path, and there's a stream that goes along with the path. Okay, it's really, really nice inside, and he's been getting rid of trees and stuff like that so he can open up the path more. So there were fish that were swimming up the stream, but the problem is because of a lot of this trees that have fallen, it's stopping the fish from migrating. Well, we all know fish really migrate more in September than they do now. So they're eventually going to die because they're unable to swim up the stream. So I was looking at one because we saw a bunch of them, and it actually, when I looked at it, because the light, it looked like it was brown, when in actual fact it was black. So I really think when people are looking out at this water and they're seeing this thing or whatever it is, I think they're just misinterpreting what they're really seeing. And, and I know the picture, that famous picture of the Loch Ness, and it's black and white and stuff like that. I think, honestly, it was just something that, whatever it was. And,
it was.
I mean, I had this conversation with somebody, right? It's actually about Loch Ness. I mean, if you it's like a haunting or whatever, if you believe that house is haunted that much, right? If you've got people in that house, right, and everybody believes that house is haunted, right? Everybody's going to be more scared, aren't they? So what happens if everybody's going to that loch thinking there's this monster, right? I mean, everybody, American tourists, Canadian tourists, Australians, everybody just want to see this monster. Do you not think that could maybe bring something into existence? I actually had a thought about that.
I'm not sure you could manifest a whole monster. No.
No. But just for that one person,
some serious psychic juice.
just maybe that one person might, as Brian says, misinterpret something and say, "I seen the monster."
Yeah, maybe, or it's just people that, or the company, the people that own the land know it's going to bring tourists, and the Scottish people there want to be part of something, and they all say they see it.
Scotsman will do anything for money, right, Chris?
Well, yes,
and that's what I think a lot of time when somebody sees a huge discovery, or what they think is a huge discovery, people will flock to that town to see if they can capture it. I think it's I think there's a lot of There's a lot of truth to that. So before we get to our final question, the question I want to ask you guys is, and we ask this to everybody, is and for both of you, because I know you both have, I know Chris, you're doing paranormal investigations right now, and I know Dakota, you have in the past as well. So what has been your scariest moment or a place to investigate? And we'll start with Chris.
Oh, scariest moment. See, I've been lucky. I've been quite lucky. I've not really had a really scary experience. I had in that Carmichael house. I had the feeling that something did not want me there. It was pissed off that I was there. It didn't want me. I've not really had a bad experience. The place I want to investigate is that Slane's Castle because it's open all year round. It's open 24 hours a day. That's what's good about it. That next year is where I'm going. But I've never really had a scary experience, you know. No, yeah. Anyway, I shouldn't really say anything. I should really touch a bit of wood here.
You keep hanging around me, you're gonna get something. You know that.
Oh God. Yeah.
And Dakota?
Let's see. There's been a few. Just kind of explain. I know that a lot of people get confused because they don't see me actually put videos of paranormal investigations. It's because most of my cases have been private locations, and the reasons behind the activity, it just did not feel right to post. Say, like, one example, first alleged demon case that ever came to my hands was because there was a spirit there. It was very pissed off. But it was because the husband in the house was getting physically abusive and cheating on the wife. So I was like, okay, the ghost has a side. The scariest incident I dealt with personally was an exorcism that gone a bit sideways. There was this young guy, he was freaking out. And that was the whole main reason I took the case, was because regardless of what was happening, this dude was afraid. I mean, he was telling me animals were acting weird around him. He was seeing what looked like a dog kind of hunting him down that eventually would stand up on its hind legs. The incident that took my notice was that he had a jade necklace on a friend of his made for protection. This thing practically vaporized it. Made it nothing but dust. I mean, it's allegedly what this guy told me was that he had what he thought was a dream, where this tall being slammed his hand through a glass case onto a parchment paper that looked like it had some sort of contract on it. He woke up and his hands were bloody, like he just punched a window. Wow. It took almost 8 hours. We got the thing out. It got away. A couple weeks later, I come home. I'm trying to lay in bed. All of a sudden, this dark, massive thing grabs me by my neck, pins me against the wall, and starts trying to choke me to death.
Wow. And you're a big boy.
Yeah, I'm 6'7" and almost 400 pounds. This thing had no trouble lifting me.
Wow. That is scary. But enjoyable at the same time. It wasn't me.
So not in that way.
Oh my
God. Oh God, that's you know what? That's actually it's actually kind of scary, to be honest. How'd you deal with that after?
Next thing I know, there was a flash of light. I'm passed out cold. The next morning, the neighbor comes over, asking me what the hell was going on, because she thought she heard animals squealing like they were being butchered.
Wow. I'm assuming you've heard this story, Chris.
No, it's the first time I've heard it.
Really?
I've told you this story.
You sure?
My God, you old men are losing your memory.
Oh, here we go.
That's that.
Why do people always go that direction?
It's terrible, right? See if we do go to that castle. See if we do go to that castle, and he comes. I'll tell you something. Now I've thought the 3 years we'll look him in some dark, deep vault, leave him there all night.
That's not very nice. You said that twice now.
Chris, don't forget, we had a bunch of people that wanted to offer you as a human sacrifice just to go to Dracula's castle.
But that they were all women. I think I'd pissed them all off.
Wow, I missed that show.
Why did it? The whole chat wanted me to sacrifice myself just for something to do.
I was about to say, wasn't that when you and Lisa were doing with Barry Fitzgerald? My God.
Yes, it was.
That's scary. It's like
they wanted to sacrifice.
We'll go to Dracula's castle. We'll offer Chris as a human sacrifice because Barry was talking about this warrior lady that rode on a lion that visited him, and I was just like, I gotta
look at Brian getting all excited now. He's searching it. He's looking for the warrior lady.
I just don't get it. I haven't heard this before. Throwing me completely for a loop. And I just want to let everybody know, I made on Instagram today. Nothing. Well, it might be a little newsworthy. I made a comment on a actor today's post, and it was a nice picture. I said, "Nice picture," and I hope you have a wonderful Christmas. And all of a sudden, I got a message in my private messages that the person I said that to now wants to talk to me.
Who is it?
So this famous actress wants to talk to me now. She wants to privately message me. Her assistant messaged me.
Flex.
I was going,
I think that's your department. Security. Get in there
I'm just hoping it's not Demi Lovato.
No, it's definitely not Demi Lovato. So, so I made a comment, and it was a very nice comment. I said it's a great picture, and I hope you and your family have a wonderful Christmas. And now she wants to talk to me privately.
Nice bobs and Virgin. That's what he said.
So I go, okay. So
anyhow,
it's because of it's because of this. It's weird, isn't it? Is that weird?
I don't know.
Yeah, it's probably weird. Maybe she thinks maybe she needs to do her charitable deed for the year.
Isn't that weird? Like so why didn't she privately message me? Why did her assistant?
Oh God, Ken.
Oh, Ken.
Get it, Daddy. Yeah. Well.
Oh God, Ken.
Get it, Daddy. Yeah. So everybody's going to wonder who it is now.
You know?
Everybody's going to wonder who that is now. I'm going to keep it mysterious.
All right.
It's going to be like, it's
Judy
weird, isn't it? Is it weird? Is that weird? I don't know. Is that weird?
Yes,
a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little bit weird.
Depends if it's a real celebrity. That's what I'm just going to say.
Well, you know what? The funny thing I did was I looked up the assistant's name, and the assistant is the assistant of this person.
Yeah, he's a clue where she's
anyone
from.
Can do that online.
Yeah, this is true. This is true.
It might be Raymond weird, just trolling you.
A little weird. But I will say this. I am a fan, and I would drop everything in my life to have dinner with her. Let's just put it that way.
Who is it, Lex? Who is it?
It's Dame Judi Dench.
Who?
That's it.
Who's Judi Dench?
Who's Judi Dench?
No,
I know who Judi Dench is, and it's not her.
It definitely is. Look how defensive he just got.
No, it's kind of cool. It's kind of cool, but a little bit weird, to be honest. So, anyhow, other than that, let's move on. So, you guys ready? Because I know you guys. I think we might have asked the question before to you guys.
We did.
So maybe we can twist it in a way that makes it a little bit different, Lex.
Right, it's gonna be hard because I'm asking them the same question again. So I'm
you can do something differently. It doesn't have to be the same thing. What's going on? My dog's right beside me, like constantly has to be beside me. Right, buddy? Go ahead.
Right. To both of you, if you had one of the 3 fields that you particularly look at, and what out of all of these fields, only one of them could present themselves to you as fact, openly to the world, this is definitely true, but you'd have to sacrifice your work in the other 2 fields, which one would you pick?
Wow. I like that. That was good. I like that.
Oh, legs.
Guys, listen. It's nothing but quality stuff here. You know, the show is quality stuff.
Yeah, we got dogs
Can I
snoring.
sacrifice you, Dakota?
We got dogs snoring. We've got me telling Jesus to go fuck himself. It's the mixed bag.
I mean, if I to truthfully say, right, I do believe in the life after death, right? And I now do believe that there is life after death. I would probably sacrifice my paranormal side to find out the truth about UFOs, aliens.
Nice.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. Very thought. That sounded like it had a lot of thought into that.
Cryptids didn't even get a look in for Chris.
No,
he was like, fuck them off.
Fuck off. Fuck off.
Because Chris just wants to sit around Chris says he wants to be the one to sit around in the camper while everybody else does the hard work.
Well, I think that's an important side to investigations.
Someone's got to keep the seat warm, eh?
Aye, make tea. Eat tonic tea cakes. Stuff like that.
Over to you, Dakota.
It's hard to answer because knowing what I know, it's all connected in some way. But I have to go with UFOs. There's my reasonings for it, and to hope that I'm not having a psychotic break.
Nice.
So, and great. And it's nice that we were able to twist that up into something different. Now, Lex, do you have any for this do you have anybody for this week for this segment or no?
No, I've been at work all week, so I've not had a chance.
Can you just talk about someone that you don't like?
Well, not anyone I haven't spoken about before.
And for my special guest, please come up. You can come up now. Thank you.
Oh, it's whoever.
For my special guest. So let's do this then. Just talk about somebody that you don't like who's a complete faker, because I actually can do it. I will say this. I know this is your segment. I left a group today on Facebook because they're promoting a faker.
Oh, I'm doing that all the time.
Yeah. So I left a group today. So are you guys want to stick around for this or what?
I know.
Yeah.
Doing nothing else.
Yeah. You guys don't have a show today?
No. We're finished up for the winter. The new year.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's right. I forgot about that.
I'll stay.
Okay, so let's do this. Ready?
Let's go.
You guys like that, right? You like that?
That was the big F with the big faker.
Yeah, you know what? And I tell everybody this. That took longer to render than actually to make.
Usually how it goes.
Oh, God. So, Lex, here you go.
Well, I didn't really have one lined up today, but we're going to do it anyway. But we're going to talk about a fun new video that I haven't watched yet. But I'm not going to because I know who's made the video. But I wanted to talk about how they're promoting the video today. This is Sam and Colby. Obviously, we're big fans.
Oh, God.
Big fans. I love the boys. They're very authentic, very real. Yeah. They don't fake anything.
Very good looking.
No,
every thumbnail, it's them going.
That's what will get you views on YouTube.
Yeah.
That's why everyone does it.
Yeah.
I've never
done a thumbnail like that. I should.
So this is the tweet I saw today from them, and I love it.
You want to show it?
Nah, I'm just gonna read it. It's not a big one. It just says update on life. There's a big chance we got cursed last month. We visited the most demonic doll in the world. Literally inspired the Chucky movies. And the #1 rule is not to film or take pictures of him. And our dumbasses filmed an entire YouTube video. Right?
Wow.
Good promo. Good promo.
Okay.
There's no evidence that this doll is demonic, by the way. I don't know how a doll could be demonic. So possession is of people, not of items. For a start, that's rule #1.
Yeah, I'm not. I have to say the whole doll thing really puzzles me, to be honest. On dolls are demonic and possessed, and why? Oh,
Well, there is some actual lore basis to it, if I'm not mistaken, coming out of Japan. I can't remember the exact name of it, but there's a certain ritual where it's kind of similar to voodoo dolls, but you assign a person's name to like a paper cutout, and that's supposed to divert spiritual attacks. So there is some basis to it in lore.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry, Lex, go on.
And when they're saying it inspired the Chucky movies, it also inspired another bunch of movies. It's named after the doll, these movies. Can anyone guess they're the worst doll horror movies on the planet? Anyone ever heard of Robert the Doll?
No.
No? No one's ever heard of it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's him. That's who they went to go and see.
Okay.
And so the idea they think they're cursed. They're doing this. They're saying these buzzwords out: cursed, demonic, all this, that, and the other. Most haunted doll in the world. But they're not bringing any evidence to the table at all. Apparently, 10,000 people have been cursed by this doll, but they're not
10,000.
10,000.
Wow, that's a lot of people.
But there's no evidence to the contrary. And apparently, what's triggering the curse is people taking dolls of the photo, taking photos of the doll. Sorry.
Okay.
Dolls again, of the photo. I don't know how that works.
Yeah, dolls of the photo. Yeah. But it opens on. I've got the video playing here, and it opens with them both taking photos of each other in front of the doll. So the rule #1 from the owner, because apparently this curse kills people, is don't take a photo of it. Yet the person who's let them in there is letting them take photos of themselves with the doll in the background, like just next to the case. You know.
So, guys, have any thoughts on that? What are your thoughts on fakers?
Oh, me?
Let's go there. Let's go there. Before we bring up our special guest, because he's in the back. Before we bring him up, I want to get your thoughts on what your feelings are about fakers.
I think fakers are destroying the paranormal credibility of other people that do paranormal investigations and doing a good job at it. It's like people that do paranormal investigations that are actually doing a good job and actually trying to prove life after death, and you get these idiots that go out. I'm not feared to say it. You can come send me messages on Twitter if they want. And it destroys the credibility. Look, there's no demons around every single corner. That's that YouTube is terrible for it. There's demons this, there's demons that, there's demons here, there's demons here, there's demons coming out the hell. It's destroying it. It really is. It's destroying people's credibility. It really is.
Yeah. And Dakota? You feel the same way?
I will say this. If you're going to fake something just for the entertainment purpose, make sure you say entertainment. I'm saying this as someone who's been in programs where they wanted to base what I know about the supernatural around the program itself. But I will say this because this is kind of a fresh issue for me, because about 4 weeks ago, some of you may have heard about this, there were some pretty brutal murders that happened not too far from me. Some college girls. There's a whole thing going about it. They don't know who did it. It's still under investigation. Everybody's freaking out. And it's becoming apparently that this may have been a Mean Girls Got Payback type of incident. Yeah. I'll just say that.
That sucks.
Those are the psychics, quote unquote psychics out there that are using tragedies like this to promote yourselves. I really hope that you do not have to go through the heartbreak that these families go through. Because what you're doing to promote yourself, to try to say you're something special, go fuck yourself. That's all I got to say.
There you go. Nothing wrong with that. I like it.
Couldn't have said it any better.
Yeah, I couldn't have said it any better. You're right, Lex. So I have a special guest. And
Zach Baggins, here we go.
Zach. Hey, Zach. So I have a special guest. Now, before I bring up the special guest, Lex, I hope you find this funny. Especially what you're going through today. Okay, you're dark. I really do.
If you're bringing on if you bring on a French person, I'm leaving.
I hope you find this funny as much as I do. So this happened, I think, a couple of weeks ago. So I'm not gonna say who it is. I'm just gonna bring him up, and he's gonna say what he needs to say. Okay, here we go.
Ready to take me out to Nando's? Last week you said you're taking me out.
Right. God. I hold my hands up. Let's plan an investigation at some point. Nando's is on me.
Now, for people that are unfamiliar with this, a couple of weeks ago, I think it was a couple of weeks ago or last week, Lex said or made these two kind of made a bet. It was kind of a bet, kind of not a bet. One of those things.
It was a gentleman's agreement
that Lex was going to take Nando to Nando's if England lost. Well, unfortunately, they lost.
I'm ready to go.
Here's Nando.
I'm enjoying the napkin.
We're getting napkin. Now, I never told him to do that. That was great. I
enjoyed that. I'm a man of my word. Next time we meet, I will have to buy us food.
I'm glad you found that funny. Honestly, I'm glad you found that funny. I hope that cheered you up a little bit.
I forgot about that one. I know I bet 50 grand with someone.
When it comes to food,
it was me. You owe me 50,000.
There you go. Say that again, Nando.
I said, when it comes to food, I never forget. So, absolutely not.
So now, let me ask you this: this place, is it really good?
It's all right. Yeah,
it's all right. It's a spicy chicken restaurant.
Oh, okay.
Food always tastes better when someone else is paying for you. So
yeah, it's true.
Complain.
True.
Yeah,
it's true. It's like when somebody makes you a sandwich, somebody else makes you a sandwich. It always tastes better.
100%.
Like I like roast dinners. But my girlfriend made me a roast dinner today, and my God, it's probably the best one I've ever had.
Oh, that's great. That's great.
I've still got some dead pig over there. It was awesome.
Well, thank you so much, Nando, for coming up and doing that. I hope it made him feel a little bit better. I know it's rough. I know he's a big fan of soccer, and I never got to see the game yesterday because I was out for the day. But when I found out they were losing 1-0, and when I found out they lost 2-1, first thing I thought of was Lex and how disappointing he was going to be. And I wanted to reach out, but I felt I'll just give him a day and I'll see him tomorrow and stuff like that. So, but I really, really appreciate coming up and doing that. That was a lot of fun. But
I'll see you guys later.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
You too. I want to thank you for coming on today's show. I really appreciate it. It's really, one thing I really love, and I said at the beginning, you guys are really authentic, and I enjoy talking to you. I know back a few months ago there was, a little bit with Parapost Network Central and somebody else, and I'm glad that was water under the bridge, and I'm glad you guys are back on Parapost where you guys belong, and I'm enjoying watching you guys climb. Like, I'm enjoying watching that because you guys are getting bigger and better and better and bigger. And it's just a lot of fun to watch. And for a person that was an introvert before he started this, and seeing you guys on the rise is a lot of fun to watch. And one thing I'm very, very happy about is that I can call you guys friends. and watch you guys grow. And thank you so much for coming on today's show. I really, really appreciate it. I'm saying my goodbyes, Lex.
Yeah, as always, boys, it's always a pleasure to talk to you both. Hopefully, it won't be too long until we're reunited again. And Chris, sort out this Scottish field trip. I'm more than happy to come up to Scotland and
we need
do something there.
Yeah,
it'd be cool. But
it's a shame Dakota couldn't be there. It's a shame Dakota
that's
couldn't
true.
be there.
It's true.
Sacrifice
we'll see what
the
happens.
gods, you know.
Yeah, we'll see. But I will say it's been a good year for your show. You've had a phenomenal time. I hope you all the best for the show in the next year as well. I hope you get even bigger.
Yeah, but we'll definitely have you guys on again next year for sure. It's always a lot of fun having you guys on the show, and what I find interesting, we actually talked about stuff today. The last time we were on your show, we never really talked about anything. It was just about this random things, but it was nice to get to know you guys a little more than I have in the past. And again, I can't wait to see what you guys are going to do in 2023. So thank you again. Okay, guys.
No problem. Thank you.
Ciao, guys. Have a great rest of the day and have a good week.
You too.
Can you come out of dark mode there so I can see you?
No.
Come on, that was funny.
It was very funny.
I didn't know about the napkin. I saw him putting the napkin on, and I go, "Oh, this is gonna be hilarious when he comes on here." But I'm really, really glad that he came on and was able, because we've been messaging each other. I said, "You can come on now. You can come on now." So, but everybody that was in the room today, thank you so much for coming in and watching our show today. I really appreciate it. And there's something else I wanted to mention. I hope you're doing good. Are you out of the hospital yet, Isla? It's always nice seeing Isla in the room. I know she was in the hospital for a while. And of course, Matt and Raymond and PWI. Sherry, thank you for coming in the room today. I appreciate that. Other than that, guys, thank you for coming and watching today. Really, really appreciate it. We were on a little bit longer than usual, but we needed to be with these two guys. And I love talking to them when we're up on a podcast. They're very, very enjoyable to talk to. But anyways, other than that, we will see everybody next week. We do have a guest next week, and I'm looking forward to having him on. I know I've been trying to get him on for a while, and things just haven't worked out, and he should be up next week. So Lex, please walk away from everything and just enjoy the night. Maybe have a couple of drinks.
I don't know why you called me Lex. My name is Alejandro Martinez.
Sorry. My apologies. Well, couldn't you be Lex for short for that name?
Nope. Because my name's Alejandro.
Oh, okay.
Martinez.
Well, good night, Alejandro. And for everybody in the room, thanks again. We will see everybody next week. And I'm saying my goodbyes, Lex.
Yeah, thank you again for tuning in for this week. Thank you to Bald and Bonkers, Chris, Dakota, your phenomenal guests as always. And while we're moving closer towards our festive period, please forgive me for cursing out Jesus as we approach his birthday. Join us next week with our new guest, more questions, more answers, and more fun. We'll see you then. Stay safe, stay spooky.